One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness, bind them. Guess what I'm reading? Immediately super easy to get into. This is where the slog is happening right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll catch you guys in the next one where I'll talk about the Return of the King. It's raining outside, and what better time than now to update you guys on how much I've read for The Return of the King, which is part 3 of The Lord of the Rings. Going strong, but not very strong, because this is how much I've read for the past month of reading this, and the first time I'm actually updating you. Yeah, and really starting out the vlog on this note. So I wrote a bunch of notes in my really beaten up notebook. It looks like it's been chewed by a dog, but here we are. And you know what? Surprisingly, I'm not enjoying this one as much as the first 2 books. Maybe because this is extremely war heavy right now. And because of how war heavy it is, and I don't feel like J.R.R. Tolkien writes good action, which I think this is no surprise to anyone, and everybody knows that, you know, he's not an action writer. Of course he's not. It's getting very boring because the most supposedly exciting parts of the book, which is the action, you know, is incredibly boring to me. So far, we've been getting a lot of perspectives. We're going back to our crew who has separated. I told you guys it was storming. I was not lying. I don't know if you heard that thunder, but it was freaking loud. Yeah. Anyway, so as I told you guys before from the last vlog, was that we were following 2 sides of the story. So one part is Frodo and Sam, who are returning the ring to Mordor, where they will burn it into the fires, and so it shall never exist ever again. And the other crew is the other half, which is you know, Aragorn and the rest of them, you know, the other hobbits and stuff. So now we're following Pippin and Merry a lot in this one, which I love. I really love their banter. I love that they are so cute. And, you know, they are separated as well in their plot lines now. But it's just, they're so hilarious. And you know Pippin, he is really a fool of a took, as Gandalf loves to describe him, especially in the first one. You know, Pippin, he is seriously getting it down and trying to be a lot more serious about this situation. And as we see them go through war, we really see the effects of war on the 2 of them and how they feel about war, and how war is oftentimes not a fun thing to go through. And I think because the original point is that they felt very valiant going through it. They felt like they were warriors and they're valiant and they want to fight for what they believe in. But when after they go through all of that in the war state, they realize how difficult war can be and how taxing it can be on their bodies and on their souls. And so I was really appreciating of getting that perspective, you know, from Tolkien's point of view, which I find that is interesting. And that oftentimes war is portrayed to be very glorious, and that you get, and if you win, you feel accomplished. But more times than not, it's really just really painful and unbearable, and you have more losses than wins in the end. And just by watching Pippin interact with the characters around him, it cracks me up. Like, he's so stupid sometimes, but his stupidity comes from such a place of, you know, ignorance. And it's just that because he's never left his home, and he's never decided to find out the world beyond him. And so when he's going around, he really doesn't think twice about his actions, and just ignorant about the things that happen around him. And I think that is endearing rather than irritating for me. Yeah. Very much. And wow, we get introduced to Denethor, which is Faramir's father, which is also Boromir's father, and he's incredibly, incessantly annoying. He's such an ass, and he's such a coward, and you know what? I really can't be bothered with that guy. he annoys the shit out of me. And really, justice for Faramir, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Justice for Faramir, the unloved child. Yeah, and I have to say that previously I was not the biggest fan of Eowyn, one of the characters who is from oh no, I forgot. There's a character named Eowyn, and she's a female, and she's very headstrong. And in the movies, it's portrayed to be really annoying, as if she's a pygmy girl, and that's why I didn't really like her as much. But I think in the books they portrayed her to be a lot more valiant and a lot more courageous, but not in a dumb way. And she really puts herself out there and seeks the opportunities to be someone who wants to save a country, who wants to save her world. And, you know, she puts herself so boldly and so bravely in front that I just find it so hard to not admire in a girl such as her in those times where in medieval times it's like, you know, girls don't have opportunities to do this, and even if they have such opportunities, they're not recommended to do such things. And I'm so surprised by Eowyn, and she's so great, and I love her so much more in the books, and I'm so glad I am in love with her more. You know, so I look forward to seeing her a lot more in the books, but right now, actually, we are in... So it's separated into different books as well. So the first book is essentially what I just... What I mean is book 5 is what I just read, and that's what I just finished. And now we have gone into book 6, which is actually going back into Sam and Frodo's perspective. And things are ramping up in intensity, not gonna lie. This book may look really thick, but all I've left to finish is actually up to here. So it's about another 100 or so pages, really. And the rest are all just appendixes and really interesting stuff that I've not seen. Like freaking what the heck? Family trees of all the different hobbits. Isn't that cool? Oh, I'm so glad Tolkien is a mad genius for creating a world so in-depth such as this. Anyway, that is roughly my update. I guess the next time I'll update you will probably be in the middle of this last segment of the book, which is really the biggest build-up to destroying the ring, the whole point of the journey. Or if not, I'll update you at the very end and really give you my final thoughts on this entire Lord of the Rings. Catch you guys later. I finally finished The Lord of the Rings Part 3, The Return of the King. And I must say that I took a longer time than anticipated. But it made total sense for me. And I'm sort of a little bit sad that the journey has ended, but glad that we have ended our journey. And to be frank, I don't think the third part is my favorite part to the entirety of The Lord of the Rings. It's probably my second in the ranking, last being Two Towers and the first being the Fellowship of the Ring. And the reason why this didn't work out for me too well is because of the war aspect, which I already said before in my previous videos, that J.R.R. Tolkien just doesn't write like the fighting aspect in his books very well. It is not compelling. It's like probably the most dry parts, and the parts where he shines is when you see him talking about his characters, going deep into their minds, into their feelings, into their despair, especially when it comes to Frodo and the ring. And that was the part that actually got me really into the book the moment I hit back to the road where we're following Frodo on his journey to get rid of the ring. And that was the part where I got invested again, and I really wanted to read this. And I was feeling all the emotions and the depth and the despair and all the negativity that comes with being in Mordor and being with the ring that is consistently whispering in Frodo's ears, you know, you can have all the power with me, you know, I'm your precious. And so Frodo is just struggling in the very last part, and that's what hits me the most. With the books, the journey that theoretically doesn't end the moment he throws the ring into the fire. It ends at a point where they go back to the Shire, and that part of the book also dragged down the entirety of everything. I'm going into spoiler territories so that I can talk appropriately about my emotions. So after they got rid of the ring successfully, because Sam managed to help Frodo do that, they go back to the Shire. But before they go back to the Shire, they follow Strider, which is aka Aragorn, back to his kingdom. And you know, he's being crowned, and they stay to watch his crowning and await the elves to come and blah blah blah. And it was just very mundane. And then the journey back to the Shire was also extremely mundane, and you go back to realize that the Shire is being under attack, and you know, the hierarchy of things has totally been abolished, and they're trying to establish peace again once again in the Shire. And I really didn't care about that part. I understand that this is a part where it makes most sense. I understand that the fight between good and evil will affect the entirety of Middle Earth. I just didn't really care about them trying to get back the Shire. Like, I just wanted them to be peaceful and at home, and that's what we finally got at the last 2 chapters or so, where they're settling in. Sam gets married to Rose and has children, and they just live very mundane lives. And actually, that's the part where I enjoyed the most, because other than Frodo's struggle, because I like to see our characters happy after having gone through so much turmoil. Ultimately, when we reach the end, it's almost really easy to cry from the experience, because you just feel like, yeah, what a wonderful journey, that it almost feels like a dream, and our characters are all where they need to be. And kind of feels a little sad where it ends on, let's see, where Sam has returned back to the Shire after sending Frodo off, and he's with his children, he's with his wife, and he says this, "Well, I'm back." I don't know why, but it hits home so hard, and I just, that "well, I'm back" thing, I don't know why it works so well, and it just feels like, with all the troubles that they went through, with all the pain and suffering that they had to go through in order to return this horrible ass ring to Mordor and burn it, that "well, I'm back home now" feels like a sigh of relief from Sam, and to realize that Sam is indeed his own protagonist in the story, rather than the little servant of Frodo. So, you know, when I look back and I think about the experience of reading The Lord of the Rings, it comes with such admiration towards J.R.R. Tolkien and his ability to be able to craft such a world, to be able to, you know, form characters that are so deep in their thinking, and they are multifaceted. They don't feel flat, they don't feel like 2D characters, they feel real. And by far my most favorite character, in terms of not like the franchise, the movie franchise thing, has to be Frodo, because his journey from the very start to the very end is just incredible. You see this naivete of him from the very start, where he knows nothing about anything in the world. All he knows is the Shire. All he knows about the world comes from his uncle, Bilbo Baggins. And yeah, his Hobbit age, he's kind of young. So for him at a young age to travel out into the world and discover that the world is bigger than him, that the world has greater responsibilities and worries than his little problems in the Shire, let's just say. And it's just so incredible to see him progress throughout the story, especially with holding the ring. The ring is literally, you know, driving him mad. But the thing is that I think a lot of people feel like, you know, Frodo in the end, like, he wasn't the one who threw the ring, because obviously he got sucked up by the ring, and he wanted to keep the ring in the end. But ultimately, I feel like he had so much courage. You know, Samwise might have been the courageous one, but he too had a lot of courage by holding the ring, by being responsible, by taking up that heavy responsibility when he knew. And when you hear his dialogue, all this time, he always says, like, I wish this never came to me. I wish that this ring never fell into my hands. And I wish I wasn't the one to have to do this. But here I am, and I'll see it through. And despite having gone through so much, and despite having seen so many things, he still has a naivete at the very end. His values are so strong that he truly believes that he shouldn't hurt anyone, that nobody is meant to be hurt. And you see that stance with Gollum, and you see that stance later on when he returns back to the Shire, and that they had to defeat the people who had overtaken the Shire for bad reasons, and he's like, we should not hurt these people as much as possible because that's not what I stand for, that's not what I hope for. And that quality of him still stands. But with anyone who experiences anything truly traumatic as he has, he does suffer from PTSD, and night after night he has dreams that haunt him, you know, and which is why he eventually decided to leave Middle-earth with Bilbo. I do wonder, and if you guys know, please enlighten me, them leaving Middle-earth, is that like sort of dying? Because I felt like it was. I wasn't too sure, and I thought that means that he chose to kill himself, like he chose to like euthanize himself and like go somewhere and be in peace in this place, you know, that will bring him peace, and he doesn't have to feel pain, he doesn't have to have nightmares anymore. Yeah. So ultimately, you know, the characters, there's so many types. They're so great, from Aragorn to Gimli to Legolas to Samwise to Merry and Pippin and Gandalf. They all are incredibly well-crafted characters that J.R.R. Tolkien did. But by far, Frodo is the ultimate character that was written so damn well that you can't say that Lord of the Rings is not a masterpiece just based on Frodo's characterizations and growth. Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, I do enjoy the Lord of the Rings and the whole reading experience, but is it one of the favorite books that I have? Not really. And to be frank, a lot of people love these books because it's part of their childhood. Unfortunately, it's not part of mine. But I have to say that I enjoy the films a lot. And so that's something that I'll probably rewatch over and over again when I have the time, because those things are like 3 hours long. In any case, I want to thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video where I'll be reading The Hobbit. Bye!